Today we're going to be looking at updates to the Astro Tailwind Flowbite template. This is a template that I've been working on over the last few months, and it basically incorporates some of the Flowbite UI components into a base Astro project, which I can use for smaller projects. Today I wanted to show some new additions, including some of the stuff that you're seeing on the screen here for my own personal portfolio. And this release is actually exciting because it's the first time I've kind of incorporated some of my own components above and beyond what Flowbite provides, just because I'm trying to build out a portfolio for myself. And I'm noticing things like stylized video containers aren't really a thing in the Flowbite UI, and I want to incorporate them within the project. So I added them into this repository. So let's take a look. Let's jump over and pull on the main branch. So here you'll see just the default project. I haven't touched anything with the index page. Let's go to the /components page and we'll look at the new additions that we added. So the first few are going to be within the gallery. Now, previously we had this gallery, which is a nice, even rows and columns of images, but I've also added masonry as an option. So if you wanted to include a gallery with a slightly staggered image heights, you could use the masonry gallery. And then also there's a featured image gallery where the images are set up in a way where you can have one featured image and then you could have a row of images underneath there. You could code it up to open up in like a light box style, like the carousel. You'll notice the images are slightly stretched, and I basically just copied and pasted the code from Flowbite's documentation for the carousel. I didn't want to stray too far away from what they had, so that way you could go and use their documentation if you needed to. But that's just something to note, that the default carousel, you'll have to size the image or size the container of the carousel appropriately, or the aspect ratios to fit the image correctly. But the code does work, and the icons in the bottom work, and the arrows work. So the carousel functionality is built in. We have a drawer, which you can click to open. So it's this neat little sidebar that opens up, and you can customize all this information here in the sidebar, and you can tie it to this button. And it's just a nice little fast way. If you want to add like contact form or something, you could do it in here, or maybe a list of your socials, you could do it in here, and have a nice little interactive sidebar, basically. The next thing is the keyboard. So I'm not sure that there's much use in this, maybe in like a blog post or something, but there is a component to build out keyboard keys within a paragraph or an inline text element. So it's just like this. And here, I'll show you an example of how to use this. So this is just all inline. So here I'm calling the KBD component, and I'm tying a key. I'm using the key property to specify which key I want to write in. So this is the shift key. So this is an example of the shift key. This would be an example of the U key. And of course, this is going to just be imported at the top of this Astro file. And then I can just assign the property inline within the component. So that's how that works. A video. So video, the basic Flowbite video is just a simple video. It has a slight border radius, which is nice. And it kind of matches like the card. So the border radiuses match, but otherwise it's pretty bare bones, the video component. So that's why I wanted to make this alternate video component. It has like nice little buttons at the top where it looks like a browser window, and the video is just, it plays inside, and obviously it's going to be responsive. So it gets smaller in the smaller windows. So yeah, those were the additions. It's encouraging, and it's nice to see that the developers for Flowbite are continuing to add new components. They recently added a numbers component, which is for things like currency and phone numbers and stuff like that. And while that might not have a use case in the type of projects that I build, it is nice seeing them continuing to add new components. So that's really cool. So if you haven't, check out the repository. I'll link it below. Give it a star. Give me a follow on GitHub, and like and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed what I've shown. And I'm going to continue to build out. Oh, one thing I forgot, the banner. I forgot it because it sticks to the bottom, but here's the bottom. It's a banner. Here's some text in the banner is the property that I assigned to the text here, and you can just close out of it. So there's a banner. They have a top banner too, but then it's going to block your navigation. So I just chose to do the bottom banner. If you wanted to do the top banner, it'd be super easy to add. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll catch you in the next video.